Good morning. Today I want to share with you about the student-centered learning. The concept of student-centered learning based on the students of Harvard 1905 and Dewey 1956. The concept of a student-centered educational approach emerged with the studies of Flowell in the school system and with the idea that teachers should not interfere with these maturation processes but should lead it. This development and the readiness are associated with the process because a child learns when he is ready to learn. Furthermore, student-centered learning environments emphasize constructing personal meaning by relating new knowledge to existing conception and understanding. Student-centered learning environments, a student can choose what and when he will learn. This brings increased responsibility to a student for learning process. The learning is central principle. Let learners construct their own plans. Coach learners to expert performance. Encourage multiple perspective. Situate learning in the real-life activity. Prompt learning to think about their thinkings. Give learning to think like an expert. Evaluate learners' thinking process. Roles in student-centered learning. The role of students. A student is completely self-responsible from his/her learning. Attention and attendance are necessary for learning. The relationship between students is more equal and support development. Establish relation between various elements of the content of a lesson. Make an action plan to learn independently. Their learning developed and is resolved. Teachers' roles and responsibility. According to Mustafa et al. 2013, in Construct Classes, the teacher role is to encourage and accept student autonomy and create comfortable atmosphere for student expression and think as guides for their students. Researchers describe teachers in inquiry-based classes as catalysts who add largely through guided questions. According to Yukimenko, in PBL environment, the teacher is not the information provider or classroom controller. Rather, the teacher facilitates, coaches, and models good problem-solving skills for their students. Techniques of strategies teacher can use in student-centered learning. Cooperative, presentation, panel spare, KWL, brainstorming, create media, discussion, small group, case study, jigsaw, learning center, experiments, role play, simulation, lab, workshop, demonstration in the SCAR, inquiry-based mental models, project problems, discovery, Q&A, social media, games, competition, debates. We can say many different strategies to teach this method. Role play. Role play is a technique that allows students to explore realistic situations by interacting with other people in management way in order to develop experience and try different strategies in support environment. Depending on the intention of the activity, participants may be playing a role similar to their own, or their likely on in the future, or could play to opposite part of the conversation or interaction. Both options provide the possibility of significant learning, with the former allowing experience to be gained and the latter encouraging the student to develop an understanding of the situation from the opposite point of view. How it works. Participants are given particular roles to play in a conversation or other interaction such as email exchange typical of their discipline. They may give them specific instruction on how to act or what to say, and as aggressive client or patient in denial, for example, or required to act and react in their own way depending on the requirements of the exercise. The participants will be out the scenario, and afterward there will be reflection and discussion about the interaction, such as alternative ways of dealing with the situation. The scenario can then be acted out again with changes based on the outcome of the reflection and discussion. Practical example. My neighborhood. Importance of the different works carried out in my community. Introducing the exercise. Provide them with the information you have already prepared about their characters. The goals and background information it need to clear to the student how committed a character is to her, his goals and why. Determine how many of your students have done role playing before and explain how it will work for this exercise. Outline your expectation on them as you would for any assignment, and stress what you expect them to learn in this lesson. In there is inquiry element suggests a general strategy for research problem solving. Second, student preparation research. The student will be need a few moments to look over the characters and get into the roles for exercise. There may also be additional questions. Why they are doing this in this character? Why did you decide to make this role-playing exercise? A student might have reservations about the character that they have been assigned or about their motives. It is good for this instructor to find out about this before the actual role play. It can be very difficult to a student to begin researching an issue from perspective very different from their own, because even apparently objective data tends to be reinterpreted as support for pre-existing work views. Assessment. Generally, grades are given for writing projects associated with the role play, but presentation and even involved in interactive exercise can be great. Special consideration for grading in role-playing exercise include playing in character, working to further the character goals, making a statement and reflect the character's perspective in an interactive exercise, being constructive and courteous. For any assignments, being able to step back and look the character situation and statement from the student out perspective or from another character perspective. In this case, we practice vocabulary and present tense and present continuous too. Assignment should be integrating learning and motivation for your students. Consider what you want your students to learn and tell them. By the end of the course, I want my students to be able. Concrete verbs such as defend are good, solve, and create are more helpful for course planning than vague verbs such as know or understand or passive verbs such as be exposed to. Second, select assignments and tests that measure that you value most. 3. Choose assignment methods that elicit from your students the kind of learning that you want to measure. 4. Choose assignment methods that are interesting and challenging your students. And 5. Use peer collaboration. Standard and assignment. Setting appropriately high and challenging standard and assessing the learning as well as learning progress, including diagnostic process and outcome assessment, are integral part of the learning process. Level of assignment. Product performance 30%, understanding 30%, process skill 25%, knowledge 15%. We can need to look advanced proficiency, approaching proficiency, development, and beginning. This is the content of the standards. Conclusion, advantage and disadvantage in student-centered learning. Advantage. The advantage of using SCL are organized in two groups, advantage and gain skills. For advantage, permanent learning, activate involvement in the learning process, motivate learning, makes learning construct the knowledge by himself, herself, allow learning to choose the best way to learning, gives responsibility to learn, self-confidence and self-sufficiency of the learning increases, provides opportunity to learn by interaction, provides opportunity to learn according to his/her own learning speed. Learning can feel comfortable. A skill with learning developed through SCL. Entrepreneurship, self-expression, social communication, problem solving, critical thinking, ability to access information, creative thinking, ability to transfer the knowledge to other areas. Disadvantages. Disadvantages and barriers arising for teacher. A student can go further than the limits, learn unnecessary or incomplete knowledge. If the teacher doesn't not perform her role as a guide well, he can lose control of the learning process completely. If the teacher can control the process, he can guide students. If the teacher has incomplete or incorrect knowledge, he can lead students. The teacher may avoid using ECL approach because of intensive curriculum and central exam. Teacher may not find SCL necessary to use and not take it seriously. Teacher might not make any preparation. The workload of a teacher increases. Disadvantages arising from students. If he does not have previous knowledge about the subject, understanding and constructing new knowledge will be difficult. Not knowing if something is correct is learned alone. If no social interaction with the others, cannot participate in the process effectively, may not be open to other ideas. Disadvantage arising from the self-driven approach requires takes long time, difficult to use and crowded classroom, require various materials and tools, it can be expensive, teacher is not the center of the process, it can be difficult to plan and apply it. Thank you so much for watching me and God bless you.